Well, from online shopping surges for gadgets or fashion during the coronavirus lockdown, another trend has been the adoption of pets. Animal shelters, as we've reported here on ILTV, were deemed essential workers. And I can tell you that in our team, our senior producer Nittany Manson adopted a puppy during the pandemic period, and our anchor Aaron Porras brought his dog just before the lockdown hit. So what does it mean for these housebound pups who are now being socialised for the first time? Well, a new Israeli immigrant is helping anxious dogs find their way post-pandemic. Take a look. From this and this to this. It might look strange, but there's a good reason for all of it. After more than 2 decades working as a senior trainer with seals, penguins and birds, as well as working with animals in zoos around Australia, zoologist Ellie Newman moved to Israel and noticed a startling need for local pets facing a unique environment. The red alert siren ringing out across the country, warning residents of incoming rockets from Gaza, not only leaving a lasting impact on people, but also pets. And Ellie uses this method to help train new puppies in how to cope with the startling noise. Soon after Ellie arrived in the Holy Land, a new set of challenges, the coronavirus lockdown. After spending months inside, now our furry friends are at risk of becoming scaredy cats if they're not yet used to the big wide world. Thanks to Ellie though, pet owners are being taught how best to acclimatise these pooches in a mentally healthy way. And Ellie joins me in studio now. Ellie, great to have you with us. And it's not just you. Who you brought with you?
I brought along the gorgeous Django. He's from SOS Rescue. They're an organisation here in Israel that helps rescue pets and find families for them. So he's with a foster family at the moment and he's looking for a forever home. So if anyone's interested in the beautiful Django after today, please contact SOS Pets.
We are a very adoption-friendly team. We already have 2 people that adopted in our team, which I mentioned before. But an incredible way to adapt your skills. You moved from Australia, you were working in zoos across the country. You came here and you saw a particular need. Talk me through what you've created.
Well, as you've mentioned, I've worked in zoos in 20 years in a really great zoo, a conservation-based zoo in Sydney, and then I've been teaching animal training and education in zoos across Australia. So I'm bringing that to Israel. We really focus on positive reinforcement, building a relationship with animals. It doesn't matter what animal it is, and really being able to make their life a lot better, their animal welfare better through training and enrichment.
But you came at a particular time, a few months before the coronavirus hit, and then you were able to identify a need, which is that pets were becoming quite anxious, maybe at home, or even now people are going back to work and not knowing what to do, how to bring their pet back out into the world. So how are you training them?
It's a really crazy time. I mean, it was a great time for pet adoptions, and we've seen this all around the world. It was even given a name, pandemic pets, quarantine critters, a name for people getting pets during Corona, during lockdown, which is great. You're at home with them, fantastic. The problem comes post-Corona when everyone goes back to their life and these animals aren't used to being left home alone. So there really are a few things you can do to get your pets used to you being out of the house, which people can put in place to be proactive about it.
So what are some of those things? I mean, we're looking at a video here, which we'll bring up later, because I know this is a different kind of training that we're looking at. But talk us through what people should be doing with their pets as they prepare to go back to work.
I think the best thing to be is proactive. So not go back to your normal routine straight away. Try teach your pets and lead up to it. So things such as finding a safe space for them that they love to be in, whether it's a playpen or a little room in the house, and making it really positive for them, leaving them lots of treats and their favourite toys, and doing it slowly. So really starting by leaving for 1 minute, then maybe 5 minutes, and up to an hour or 2 hours. But making it as positive for the animal as possible, giving them their favourite treat when you leave. So leaving is a good thing, not a bad thing.
Certainly, because we've been hearing a lot about the impact of mental health during the COVID-19 pandemic, and we often think about how that affects people, but we don't think about how that affects pets. So what are some of the signs, perhaps, that our pet might not be coping?
Yeah, so pets, especially dogs, can get separation anxiety, and you can tell if your dog has got it because they'll constantly cry, excessively cry. They'll soil the house when they didn't used to. You might come home and they've chewed around the doors and the window frames, and basically that means doesn't mean that they were angry that you left. It means they were really stressed out and really anxious and not coping. So really starting off small, making it positive when you leave the house. Don't make it a big deal. Keep it nice and simple for them. And really building it up slowly can really help them in the long run.
So I want to come back to that video we were looking at before with you and the vacuum cleaner, because there's a very unique situation here in Israel, which are the red alerts when people that are living here are forced to run into shelter. There's a loud sound that either comes in a siren or in the sound of somebody's voice, and that really triggers pets. So what are you doing to help pets deal with that?
I've had a lot of phone calls, especially recently. We had 2 sirens for Yom HaShoah and Yom HaZikaron, and people saying their pets are in pain, they cry and they can't handle it. And it's scary for a pet that's never experienced it. So the best thing to do is to get that sound that they're scared of. You can see with the vacuum cleaner before, that pet with that little Wrigley was scared of the sound of the vacuum. Play it really softly while you feed them, where you give them treats, while you give them dinner, so that they don't react, and slowly get that sound louder and louder so it becomes non-existent and they're getting lots of treats with those sounds.
Well, tell us a little bit, because it's the Animal Training Initiative, so people can find you if they're needing a bit of help, not only with COVID-19 but many other different kinds. You've worked with penguins, you've worked with seals, worked with all these sorts of animals, and you've come from Australia, a very special place for animals,
It is a special place. So it's the Animal Behaviour Initiative. You can find me on Facebook. I'm all about teaching animals but also teaching people that care for them. So really trying to find the best way to build that relationship with you and your animal.
Ellie, it was so great to have you here, and your special friend. I love you.
Thanks,
so
Django.
Cute.
You're so good.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Part of the
Tracy.
reason I love my job. Thank you.